First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
We begin tonight with a live look at Super Doppler 10 radar. Good evening, I'm Melanie Woodrow. Nicole and Tom have the night off. So when is the rain going to move out? 10 on your side. Chief Meteorologist Don Slater is standing by in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center with details. Don?
Any minute if it hasn't moved out already. How's that for a direct answer? Because rain has really tapered on off now in the past hour. Every time we look at the forecast models, they bump things up just a bit in terms of when they're going to be moving things on out of the area, and they're starting to move things on off right now. Now, here's a look at what's going on in the wide view. We start from south and go work our way northward. The only area that we're a little concerned about is Hatteras Island, but even here, the worst of it is offshore. We move on up toward the rest of eastern North Carolina, the rest of the Outer Banks. There is some scattered rain, but not nearly as much, and no lightning with this. We're seeing some rain over the south end of Virginia Beach, and there is still some rain, and this is the actual cold front on off to the west, right on into here. That cold front should move through just a little bit later on, and you can still see some rain into Accomack County. But again, that tornado watch in effect right on down into here until 7 o'clock. I expect it'll be canceled here within the next hour or so. We've had no reports of severe weather into the area. What does our forecast hold? I mentioned a cold front, and it is going to get colder. You'll want to see that. We'll have the complete forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Don. Police say a man killed a woman in North Carolina, then abandoned their 22-month-old daughter this morning at a Newport News shopping center. The crime sparked an Amber Alert. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says 23-year-old Alexander Zelaya shot and killed Mariana Reyes at her Fayetteville home, then drove away with his daughter Juliana. She was found this morning in the Bayberry shopping center off of Jefferson Avenue. The little girl was not harmed. The Sheriff's Office is still looking for Alexander Zelaya. 10 on your side's Ariane Aramburo has been following the story. She joins us live from the area where the little girl was found. Ariane?
Melanie, that's right. It was just after 7 o'clock this morning when a delivery truck driver found little Juliana Reyes wearing nothing but a purple T-shirt and a dirty diaper. 22-month-old Juliana Leticia Reyes is safe and sound tonight after a delivery truck driver found her outside this Grandstands Grill restaurant in the Bayberry Village Shopping Center in Newport News. Police say the driver brought her into this food line because it was the only business open at the time. We spoke with a woman who did not want to go on camera, but she was with Juliana after the police arrived.
And I just went in there, cute little girl, and she was cold, so I went to Family Dollar and bought her some clothes because she was cold.
The woman says Juliana didn't talk much, but she did seem to be in good spirits.
And she seemed like a cheerful little girl, just playing with the toys in there. She didn't speak much, but she did give me a hug, asked for a hug. But, yeah, I felt pretty bad for her.
Earlier this morning, the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office issued an Amber Alert for Reyes after her father, 23-year-old Alex Zelaya, allegedly shot 22-year-old Mariana Reyes. Authorities say Reyes's body was found in the road near her home and that she had been shot multiple times. That's when investigators say Zelaya took Juliana with him in a stolen car.
It was actually WAVY TV 10, your station, that notified us of this Amber Alert from North Carolina. And we began working with them. They sent us a picture, and the picture from the website looked very similar to this little girl as well.
I was devastated. I was, because, you don't see this happen every day right here,
Well, we're told that Juliana is right now in police custody. As for her father, Alex Zelaya, he is wanted for first-degree murder. Police say he could still be in the area, possibly driving a burgundy Toyota, and they're asking anyone who has seen this vehicle or may have known where Alex's whereabouts are to call police immediately. Reporting live in Newport News, I'm Ariane Aramburo, 10 on your side.
Several residents at a two-story boarding house in Norfolk are homeless tonight. It took several units from the Norfolk Fire Department to get this morning's fire along Early Street under control. Despite their best efforts, the house was gutted. 10 on your side's Art Kahn joins us now with details. And Art, you say that residents are thankful despite the damage.
Well, that's true, Melanie. Now, there were 3 adults and a child home at the time. They, along with the other tenants of this home, lost everything in the fire except for that which matters most. Tonight, they are all alive and unharmed, which, when you look at the damage done by this fire, is nothing short of a miracle.
When firefighters arrived on the scene at around 11 a.m., heavy flames and thick smoke were pouring from the rear of the house on Early Street.
And it appeared to be spreading fairly rapidly through the house.
Inside the home, before help arrived, 3 adults and a child suddenly faced with a life and death situation.
And then I opened the window and all the smoke like came towards my face. And I saw like a long string of fire.
I ran downstairs, went to the backyard.
The downstairs tenant, John Tharp, was also outside at this point.
I noticed flames coming through the other room door, and then I come outside and noticed Teresa, the upstairs tenant, she had come outside, and then we stood there for a minute. I said, well, where's Marilyn and the baby?
Actually, her name is Marilyn, and both she and her little girl were still inside the burning home.
And then I tried to get my little girl out, but it was hard because the whole place, you know, it was full of smoke.
And the situation inside the house was about to get even worse.
Their room is right over top of the garage. That's where the fire originated from. There's a lot of paint chemicals in there.
All of a sudden, we just heard a big explosion over the garage. And after that, I was just taken, I dropped my wallet.
It was what happened just before the explosion that mattered most.
30 seconds after I got them out, their room exploded.
The same room where Marilyn and her daughter of just 21 months were resting.
Very fortunate that they were able to get out.
Yes, very fortunate that John Tharp was one of the 3 adults home when that fire started and able to help mother and child to escape unharmed. Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Mr. Tharp, who wants everyone to know that he's not a hero. I know some people, though, that think he is. Art Khan, 10 on your side.
And another fire, this one in Chesapeake, where firefighters needed about an hour and a half to get a fire under control at the TFC recycling plant. When crews arrived around 7:30 this morning, they found heavy smoke coming from the warehouse off of Campostella Road. The warehouse was filled with bound newspapers. Firefighters had to move the burning bales outside to a parking lot where they were broken open and extinguished. Nobody was hurt. And still no word yet on what started a fire at the Hampton apartment complex. Firefighters responded to Lakeshore Apartments off of Twin Lake Circle just after 9:30. A 10 on your side viewer sent this video to report it. Investigators say the roof is now destroyed. They're not sure how many apartments were damaged, but fortunately nobody was hurt. The Red Cross is helping 25 people out with a place to stay. Virginia Beach police say a jail inmate threatened to kill a judge. Detectives say 37-year-old David Hance wanted to pay somebody $5,000 to have a Virginia Beach Circuit Court judge killed. Hance was behind bars at the time. He is now charged with solicitation to commit a felony. He is remaining in jail without bond. Norfolk police say they're looking for 3 men wanted in a double shooting. It was a breaking story last night at 11. It happened around 10:30 on Crick Street. That's near the intersection of Azalea Garden and Robin Hood Roads. Police say 2 men were shot during a robbery attempt. Both victims are expected to be okay. If you can help police find the suspects, call the crime line. Remembering a Chesapeake police officer who died during dive training. The wake for Officer Timothy Schock tonight on WAVY News 10 at 5:30. And a suspect knocked unconscious during an attempted robbery.
I had a lot of adrenaline going.
Wait until you see what an employee made the would-be robber do when he came to. Plus, the Transportation Department is planning to make it a little bit easier for you to find that cheap flight. We'll let you know why fine print will soon be bigger.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Sears says it is going to close between 100 and 120 Sears and Kmart stores because of poor holiday sales. Sears has more than 4,000 stores in the United States and Canada. There are several Sears and Kmart stores in our area. The company hasn't determined which stores will close and when. Sears is not saying how many, if any, jobs would be cut. The retailer says the store closings will generate almost $170 million in cash in inventory sales. Ads that make airfares seem low will soon lose that asterisk, directing you to a long paragraph of additional taxes and fees. Starting January 24th, the Transportation Department will enforce a rule requiring any advertised airfare price to include all taxes and fees. For the past 25 years, airlines and travel agencies have been allowed to list those fees separately. That paragraph of fine print can add 20% or more to the price of a ticket. The government will be charging a new fee to health insurance plans next year for research to see which drugs, tests, and treatments work best. The fee is a little-known provision of President Barack Obama's health care law. The goal of the research is to answer basic questions like whether a new prescription drug advertised on television actually works better than one of those old generic that costs much less. Skeptics wonder how the government will use this kind of research on medical effectiveness. Drug addiction experts are worried about a new painkiller formula that could be on the market soon. Several manufacturers are working on pills that would contain hydrocodone, the narcotic combined with acetaminophen and Vicodin, in a much purer form. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says addiction to painkillers has reached epidemic proportions in the United States. Some medical experts worry that such a strong painkiller could lead to further abuse. Drug makers say pure hydrocodone is actually safer than combined drugs such as Vicodin, since large doses of acetamin can damage your liver. You can give the gift of life tomorrow. WAVY TV 10 is sponsoring the Every Drop Counts blood drive with the American Red Cross. It's December 28th through the 30th from 2 to 7 p.m., December 31st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and January 2nd from 2 to 7 p.m. Just show up at the Chesapeake Square, Greenbrier, Patrick Henry, or Pembroke Mall. They're always looking for blood donations, especially types O and B. You'll find more information on WAVY.com. Imagine if you had to climb steps as high as a 28-story building to get to and from your home every day. These people did, but not anymore. We'll let you know how much quicker their trips are. But first,
You know, I got the money and he had a bag out, and instead of putting it right into the bag, I stick it out here and I said, just take it, just take it.
what happened next was caught on camera, how a robbery suspect ended up unconscious and what he had to do when he woke up.
And as expected, that tornado watch has been canceled just a bit early. Was to be in effect until 7 o'clock. That's now been canceled. Still a little bit of rain into the area. We'll update Super Doppler 10 live for you. Tell you how much rain we got in just a few minutes.
Minutes after a man with a gun tried to rob a North Carolina business, he ended up on the floor unconscious. It happened Friday night in Hendersonville, close to the South Carolina border. NBC's Mike McCormick talked to the clerk who knocked out the suspect.
Behind the counter at We Buy Gold in Hendersonville, you'll find Derek Mothershead, or Rocky, which is his new nickname.
I had a lot of adrenaline going.
Friday night, just before closing, a man wearing a hoodie and a bandana walked in.
You know, he told me he had a gun, and he even flashed it.
Store surveillance video shows him come behind the counter.
You know, I stood up and threw my hands up and said, you know, take the money.
Normally, Mothershead is armed.
You know, I would have shot him.
But on that night, Mothershead, a big fan of mixed martial arts, wasn't. So he used the gun he was born with.
You know, I got the money, and he had a bag out, and instead of putting it right into the bag, I stuck it out here and I said, just take it, just take it. And so when he reached out, you know, I took a step in and I cocked back, I preloaded, and I hit him. I hit him hard. Like I said, I hit him with everything I had.
The would-be thief was knocked out cold.
At the time, you really don't think you hit somebody as hard as you do, but looking back at the tape, I say I hit him pretty hard, I guess.
Turns out the weapon was a pellet gun.
When I pulled it out of his, you know, if he had it in his waistband, when I pulled it out of his waistband, I kind of just started laughing.
Mothershead dragged him to the desk, held him down with one hand, and called 911 with the other. Eventually, the guy came to.
He kind of begged me to, you know, let him go.
Instead, Mothershead made him clean up his own blood while they waited for police and paramedics.
Just really not even worth hitting us. We got a, you know, a fast retrieval money system in order, and we really don't carry that much money to begin with, so there's no point in hitting us.
His point, which he made clear on Friday, is that if you hit them, you'll be hit back.
It was just an opportunity there where I thought that I could actually, you know, do something, and he could actually get, you know, justice could be served.
Wow, that was some video. That was Mike McCormick reporting. The 25-year-old suspect is behind bars, charged with attempted robbery. Well, winter made its presence known today in Kentucky. Heavy snow fell this morning in Paducah. It was cold enough for the flakes to collect on tree branches and cars, but it did not stay long. And for the latest on our forecast, which does not include snow, we send it over now to Don Slater. So, you know, we talked yesterday, you and I, about there'd be some rain around 3 o'clock, but it seems like it stuck around a little bit longer.
Well, it started a little bit earlier. Every time we came out of the box yesterday talking about our forecast, we said, well, we're going to push it up an hour earlier, an hour earlier later on for our forecast. And now today, as of yesterday, we thought it'd end around 6 o'clock, but it's ending around 5 o'clock. So again, this rainfall started a little bit earlier, and it's also ending an hour or so earlier. But basically, we got it right here. This forecast for rain, we've got it, and we did have that tornado watch, pardon me, in effect for North Carolina until 7. It's been canceled. The worst of this action is offshore right now. We're going to start in North Carolina, where the worst of the action is, but again, it's offshore. There's some lightning out of this particular area, 35 lightning strikes in the past 5 minutes, but the rain is for the most part coming to an end on Hatteras Island. Little bit of rain toward Oregon Inlet. We did see some just about 10 minutes ago toward Kitty Hawk and Nags Head, and we are seeing a little bit toward southern shores, actually northward there toward the Corolla area, seeing a little bit of rain, but not much. And then we look northward, and there's not much rain either there here, because again, we could still see a little bit of rain across Chincoteague, the northern neck. This is a kind of a secondary cold front right on into here. It'll pop through the area a little bit later on tonight. And we did have a good dose of rain. Most of the rain during the day today was fairly light. It was wind-driven, but it was light rain. But we ended up with 1/3 of an inch to around 1/2 an inch or so across the eastern shore, a little bit less into the Middle Peninsula, northern neck. We go down toward the Hampton Roads area. Generally around 1/4 of an inch up to about 1/2 an inch along the oceanfront areas, especially the south end. And then into North Carolina, coastal North Carolina, had anywhere between 1/2 an inch all the way on up to an inch at Cape Hatteras. But again, this rain is moving on out, and what's moving in? Well, basically, it's going to get colder. In fact, we've even seen a little bit of a sunset out there. We'd have had to look hard for it. There's some breaks in the clouds. Here's what the next couple of days hold. All that rain moves on off, moves on away, and we'll see some cloud cover from time to time, but it'll basically be back to December temperatures into the area, but normal December temperatures with highs basically around the 50-degree mark coming up in the next couple of days. Here's where the rain is at 7 o'clock with our future track computer model. Remember that little line right on up into here? That's a secondary cool front, and there's where it is by 9 o'clock. 15, 25-mile-an-hour winds, 10, 20-mile-an-hour winds, and our skies have cleared off by 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll see a stray cloud or two during the day tomorrow, and it'll be a little bit breezy. It'll be mainly around the noon hour, early afternoon, and then it goes away. 7 o'clock in the evening, northwest winds 10 to 15, and there's where we are by 7 o'clock on Thursday morning, 5 to 10-mile-an-hour winds, west winds becoming more southerly by the end of the day. That's not going to warm things up so much for Thursday, but I think for Friday, we'll warm back on up. Around 50, 52 tomorrow with a lot of sunshine and a few afternoon clouds. Here's where we are into Thursday. A lot of sunshine, but a bit on the cool side. Here's the rain moving on through the area. Again, very, very heavy rain at times, especially with the wind that we've had. Winds have gusted to around 40 miles an hour during the mid to late afternoon. And right now, it's around 60, 61 degrees. Overnight, will drop to about 40 degrees throughout the area. But again, the winds very, very strong into the area right now. They'll back off a little bit. They're gusting to around 23 to 32 miles an hour right now. It'll still be a bit breezy overnight into tomorrow, but 51 tomorrow, 50 on Thursday, Friday, 60, and not bad coming up for the holiday weekend.
Toyota reveals its new hybrid, how far the automaker says you'll get on a gallon of gas, and when you can pull it into your driveway. Plus, a mall brawl caught on tape. We'll let you know how it all ended tonight on WAVY News 10 at 5:30.
Season's greetings. I'm Colonel Mark DeLong from Osan Air Base, Republic of Korea. I'd like to wish my sons, all of my family and friends in Yorktown, Virginia, a very special Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I miss you all, and I hope to see you all soon.
Around the world tonight, Britain's Prince Philip is out of the hospital and now resting at the royal family's country estate. The 90-year-old was released this morning after undergoing treatment for a blocked coronary artery. Prince Philip was rushed to the hospital Friday night after complaining of chest pains. Waves as high as 16.5 feet are battering parts of Thailand's coast. The waves have been causing damage along the Gulf of Thailand for the past 3 days. Several homes and other buildings have been damaged or destroyed. Residents say the waves are the highest in decades. Several areas were evacuated as a precaution. Well, people who live on the side of a mountain in Colombia used to climb hundreds of steps, the same length as a 28-story building, to get to and from their homes. Not anymore. Now they ride a massive outdoor escalator. It's more than 1,200 feet long. It shortens the walk home from 35 minutes to 6. Today, Toyota launched what the automaker claims is the world's most fuel-efficient hybrid vehicle. The Aqua has a listed fuel efficiency of 83.3 miles per gallon. The price tag starts at $21,000. Toyota plans to export the Aqua to the United States and other countries next spring. What were you looking for this year? We'll run down the top 10 search terms of 2011. Plus, help on Facebook, how people across the country helped save the life of a Utah woman and her baby boy.
Fully test. Hello, hello. Yeah, on the shadows. Right there, one right there. But it's behind that tree. That's a Portsmouth car over there.
Facebook was the top search term of the year for the 3rd year in a row. According to a report from online consumer panel Experian Hitwise, Facebook-related searches like Facebook login took 4 of the top 10 spots. YouTube, Craigslist, Yahoo, eBay, and MapQuest also made the top 10. Hitwise also says Facebook was the top visited website for the 2nd year in a row. Also in the top 10, Google, YouTube, Yahoo, Bing, Gmail, and MSN. And here's another website. Go to WAVY.com and click on Our Year in Review. You can check out the timelines and view photo galleries of the top news stories of the year.